Hey guys, so here we are with Earth Reborn Scenario 7. It's called Contamination. And so for the first time we have the Salemite players invading the NORAD base, and it's quite a small base at that. And what their plan is this deadly virus that Kendall invented a few years back. Every zombie that either Kendall or Jeff Dealer creates while holding the virus, so they can plant it, but while they're holding it, every zombie they create is going to be infected. And Jack Saw here is the first zombie that they've done this with. And so what that means is that each room that the zombie enters is going to take a wound. During the final phase, any open doors or broken walls adjacent to that room will allow it to spread into adjacent rooms. And they will also take a wound. And so the virus will spread like mad as long as the Salemites can create a few zombies and gain them running around. So that's very scary for the NORAD player. Now so that's all exclusive to this scenario. The real new thing here is that we have a large miniature. So we have the Mammoth here, which takes up 4 spaces. And the only real difference for 4-space miniatures is that when you're walking around, you have to make sure that all 4 spaces you're on are valid. So the Mammoth here couldn't go through this door because it's not big enough. However, his character card gives him the special, unique ability of being able to blow stuff up as long as he's facing it. So he gets to roll 3 dice. If he gets a 4, then it's destroyed, whatever it is. So basically, that ability lets you hit 2 adjacent things. So here we have 2 walls that he could blow up. If he was blowing this up, he'd have to face it and be a door and a wall. He could do, if he was facing this way, standing here, this door being open, he would destroy the floor element and this door. So just 2 adjacent, or side by side I should say. Here they're not adjacent, so just picture 2 missiles being shot. So bing, bing, makes sense? Alright. Before I embarrass myself anymore, let's move on. In terms of, to discover line of sight, so you look at where the exterior colors there, we got the orange and red. And if you look, it only applies to his front 2 spaces. The back 2 are all white there. So that means for line of sight, you can look at it from either of those spaces. So you pretend he's here and then you check line of sight, or you pretend he's here. So as long as either has line of sight, then the character itself has line of sight, and then you'll do targeting from whichever square has the line of sight. Okay, so in terms of points, I'll bring you over here. So each time that a zombie infects an area, or every time the deadly virus is in a room that has more than 4 squares, the Salemites are going to get 2 points. So that's the main way they're going to score points. If they can take out the Mammoth MK, they get 20. They can kill No Bolter, 8. They can kill Vasquez, 5. Then for the NORAD, so each time they kill a zombie, they get 3. John Kendall will give them 10, as will Jeff Dealer. However, so it seems like they're at a disadvantage, but they do get a big point lead of 20-0, and this scenario is only going to last 5 phases, so 5 rounds. So it should be tight, and it's really a unique scenario, so I'm excited to try it out to see how creatively, as the Salemite player, I can use those wound markers. In terms of setup, you'll have the same map as me, however character placement is totally decision based. So for the Salemites, they're given 5 tokens, 2 of them are decoys, and they go first and place all of these markers face down on the map. And then after they've done that, the NORAD player places his 3 characters directly on the map. Okay, so there's no need for markers because the Salemites already placed it, so you place all your markers on the map. So basically what happened is that I suspected that they would actually put somebody at the graveyard because each zombie they create is going to be infected and will help them do the spread. So I have my Mammoth here to address that issue. John Kendall did in fact go for the cemetery, which another special rule for this scenario, has unlimited cadavers, okay? So he can keep creating zombies as long as they don't surpass the maximum of the 2 zombie figures on the map. I have Jack Saw here getting ready to run in the building and start infecting as many rooms as he can. And then I also have Jeff Dealer over here by the morgue to create zombies. Now Vasquez also suspected, as the NORAD player, I suspected that they want cadavers, right? So I had Vasquez guarding the morgue, because as long as they don't create more zombies, I'm in a pretty good place. Then I had Nick Bolter, who got faked out by a decoy, because I figured they would send Jack Saw in at the other end, but they ended up putting him over here. So that's my scenario, and I got to choose setup. The NORAD players, of course, had to stay indoors, and the Salemites, as I said, had to be outdoors. So the NORAD has initiative, which is another thing my dog got into. But it still does its job. I know who goes first, and I'm going to show you how the Mammoth works. So I'm going to start off by activating him. 1, 2, 3, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use his special ability, because I have him right now in a 2x2 room, and so he can't walk anywhere because there's walls and a door that's too small. So I'm going to get him to blow up the wall that's in his red firing arc, so straight in front of him. I'm going to get 3 dice to try and do that, and if I get 4 damage, that's a success. 3 dice, we need 4 damage. There we go, so we got 6, and so what that's going to do is that's going to blow up this wall here. Now you may be thinking like, wow, that's really overpowering, he can do that whenever he wants. And he can, however, his ammo is limited to the number of broken wall pieces that are here, so as soon as these run out, he can no longer do that. So there is a bit of a limit, a large ammunition limit, but a bit of one. You'll also notice that like he wouldn't be able to move if it weren't for that, right? He'd be very limited to what he could do on the map. So we'll see if it balances out, and I think it will though. So now I've broken through that wall, and I actually have line of sight to Kendall if I go by this front square here, right? So I do have line of sight, and coincidentally Kendall also has line of sight to him due to that square. So in terms of a normal guy seeing a large miniature, he only has to be able to see one of the 4 squares to have line of sight. In the case of the Mammoth, he has to see him from one of the 2 squares where he has arc of sight. In this case, the front 2 squares. Okay, so they can see each other. So will John Kendall interrupt to try and run away? Now, if he were to run away, we'd need a high move, and we don't really have one. So if he were to interrupt, right, he would spend 1 on movement and only be able to run away 3 spaces. And the Mammoth here gets 4 movements per command point. And so I don't think I'll be doing that, just because the Mammoth will be able to keep up with them. One other thing I didn't mention, it will come out shortly, but because the Mammoth is so large, you actually have to pay to turn him. So you spend 1 movement point, then you get to fix his orientation. So you don't get to choose his placement unless you pay whatever is in this turning symbol. So in this case, 1 point. Okay, so we've broken that door, we have line of sight. So now all I want to do is start shooting at Kendall. So I want something with shoots and that won't waste anything. And I think we'll go with this one. So it has 2 shoot orders on it, and also a movement. And I think I'll move closer to make sure I get line of sight. And I'll show you how that looks, and then I'll take my shots at him. So I'll spend 1 point on movement, and for each point of movement I get 4 movement points. If I spend 1 of those movement points, I'm able to turn. So here we go. 1 movement point. Everyone with me? Makes sense, right? 1 movement point, and then I don't want to go adjacent because I don't want to give him the second chance to run away. So we'll stop there. So that's just a basic movement. I do have movement left over. However, turning costs the same no matter from which point. So I'll have to spend 1 regardless if I want to turn around. So I'll end my movement there. It just gets my targeting a lot closer, because now I have line of sight here, so it'll only be 1, 2 spaces. So keeping that in mind, I am now going to take a shot at him. So I need 2 spaces on my targeting, and what am I shooting him with? Well, the Mammoth comes packed with his own gun. So Kendall is in my red line of sight, so I'm going to get 4 dice. So he's in my red line of sight, so I'm going to get 4 dice, and when I do damage, I'm sorry, so the first thing you do, right, check for targeting. So I'm going to get 4 dice for that, and I need to get 2 spaces here. I got 3, and the Mammoth is not affected by the out of ammo symbol. So now I get 4 dice, because he's in my red arc, and we'll see what damage we can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we put that up against Kendall's defensive 2. So we have 4 minus 2, so he will be taking 2 wounds. Alright. Now, for my next action, I'm actually going to shoot at him again. So one more command point on the separate shoot order, and it'll be the same thing. So I still have to roll again for targeting, so 4 dice, and I need 2 spaces for it to go through. We got plenty. The automatic also applies to him, right? So he could be standing way at the other side of the map. As long as he had line of sight, then he is able to do that. And now we get to roll for damage, so another 4. Here we go. So another strong roll. So we got 5 here, minus the 2. So we got 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. However, once we place 2 on this side, he's going to flip over to his wounded side before we can place that. So 4 damage, and then the 5th going on this side here. So he only has 1 life point left, which should be enough for him to create zombies. So you might have, it might have been worth it for him to try and make a run for it, because it does take the Mammoth a point to turn. However, he still would have got shot at, and he would have had to run this way, which means he would have also created a problem for Jacksaw as well. So ultimately, I don't think it was the worst decision, because he did survive it, and now the Mammoth has used up all 4 of his command points. So that will be it for him for this round, and we'll move over to Salemite's turn. So what I want to do first, seeing as Jeff Dealer is now in the clear, what I'm going to do is seeing as John Kendall is now in the clear from the Mammoth, I think I'm going to send Jacksaw for a run. Yeah, we're going to start getting Jacksaw running around and contaminating everything. So we're looking for high movement, and 3 is as high as you can go. We'll do this one. So I'll activate him, choose to attach this order tile. We'll start spending movements and start infecting the area here, and just see if we can bump up some points for the Salemites. However, before we get to do that, I just realized he's in front of a wall that needs to be busted down, so I guess the running will have to wait, and we'll spend 2 points here on this combat just to try and bust open the door. So that gives me 4 dice, and I spent the extra to strike hard, so that'll give me a 5th die to try and get 5 damage because it's in his blue arc, right? So I went to the corresponding dark blue. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, just enough. I'm glad I spent the extra. Because it's not blocking anything, it can't be repaired. I'm just going to move it off to the side. So he did break in, but his max CP is 3, so he's only going to get to spend 1 more command point on movement. But it's still enough to infect an area and get a few points. So 1, he stepped into this room here, and so we'll place a wound marker in it as a reminder. And because he infected a room of at least 4 spaces, he's going to give the Salemites 2 points. 1. Now he still has 2 movements left, and it would be ideal to get to a door to open it so it could spread, but we're not going to be able to do that. However, that will be our plan 2, 3. Come next round, I'll be opening doors as well. So it's not the worst idea. Okay. So that's it for Jacksaw. He broke in and he got the Salemites 2 points. So over to the NORADs now. NORADs. So for Vasquez, I don't think it makes sense to open the door even though she has the key card. I think it makes more sense to make Jeff Dealer waste combat points to try and break it open. So I'm going to wait for that, and instead I'm going to try and get Nick Bolter to help out with the zombie crisis happening over there. So we'll activate him, and we're just going to get him to run a bit. So activating Nick Bolter, he's able to take 7 command points, so we'll be able probably to make it across the map if we have a good movement, and we don't. We'll use the 2 movement then for now. And maybe we can search somewhere. Okay. Spending 2 movement points here, putting us at 10. So he does have a key card, so we'll spend the first thing here to open this door. We'll step through. So 1 to open, 2 to step through, and 3 we're actually going to close it just in case Jeff Dealer decides to scurry over here as soon as I run away. 2. Now we're in an office quarters. I'm debating on where I should search. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll open this door. 7, 8. We'll close it. 9. Do we want to open that? No, we'll step into this room. 9, and we'll stop here. Oh, you know what? 9 to open this door, and then 10 we'll step into this room. So it hasn't come up, but another thing with the Mammoth 2K is that it is possible, because he's a 4-space miniature, for him to be legally standing in 2 rooms. This is an illegal situation, but had this been legal and that the wall here was broken, and as was this element, he'd be standing in a living section and an office section as well. So a living quarter, and an office section. And so if he were to search, he would have to declare from which room he was searching from. That probably won't come up this game, however it's worth noting. So I have Nick Bolter here in a search section, so we'll use that new search order that we've been developing. And we'll see if I can get maybe some grenades or something to try and stop Jacksaw. So 2 command points on search. Nick Bolter gives me 2 default dice, and the extra one will give me a 3rd. Keeping in mind, spy points, because we're in the NORAD's home ground, does not convert into morale points. So 5 search, and we also have a shuffle in there, but we won't worry about that. We'll just burn cards. So first search point. Plastic explosive. That's kind of what I had in mind. How long does that take to go off? 1 final phase. I can't pick it up. I'm debating leaving it on top. That might be more in favor for the Salemite, actually, because they might use it to break in different spots. So we'll bury that as well, spending our 2nd search point. So here we have the chainsaw, which can only be picked up in the technical room, and this here is corridors. So I was in a corridor, but I left. I'll spend my 3rd search point. And here we have a flail, which can be picked up in any room. The snowflake symbol means in any room. So I've spent 3 of my points. I'm going to spend my 4th to actually pick this up. So I meet the requirement here, and I have enough left over to pick it up. So here's my 4th search point, and when you take one, it's over. So the search ends, and I now just got really good at close combat, getting an extra 3 damage towards it. So not a bad turn for Nick Bolter. He will have to get closer though to start to really help. Over here on the Salemites, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with Jeff Dealer, however I do know what I'm going to do with John Kendall. So I'll activate him. And what I'm going to do is create a zombie. You also notice, that Jeff Dealer and John Kendall have masks, which will make them immune to the virus when it's unleashed. So it only has an effect on indoor spaces, but if they want to run inside, I will be turning on those masks before they run into a toxic virus. So here we go, activating John Kendall, and I'm just trying to create zombies. So his character's ability is spend 2 command points, have a cadaver in front of you, check, do a science roll. So 2, if you get 4 damage, you got yourself a zombie. So I get 2 dice here. Not very good. Let's see how it goes. 2 dice to try and get 4 damage. Come on, 2 dice, 4 damage. No dice. What's this new command point limit? Still at 4, so I'm going to spend another 2. And I just desperately hope. What else could I do? If I could get him in a space, I can unleash the virus and get 2 points. I think the thing is, if he stays here, he's pretty much dead next round. He'll have to interrupt and run away from the mammoth if he wants to survive. But you know what, that's an option. He can always interrupt. So we'll spend the last 2 here on his special ability. Make a science roll, 2 dice again, need 4 damage. 2 dice, 4 damage, come on, 4 damage. Man. Okay, so no new infected zombies, and Kendall's got to get out of there before the mammoth hits him again, because it's crucial to be able to create zombies if they want to win this scenario. Okay. So over here, we've got Vasquez left to be activated, and I'm not sure what I want to do with her. So she has 5 command points maximum. My highest interrupt shoot is a 2. So we'll hold on to that. I don't have any search. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy an order tile. Just give myself something to do. So I'm going to spend 1 here, just loosely, and I'll grab 1 new order tile from the bag. And that will be my turn. So similar, not much better. I'm curious of the type of room. It's a science room. So I could pick up a med kit if I can get the search order. So over here they will activate Jeff Dealer. If they kill Vasquez, they do get points. And if they kill Vasquez, they also get access to the morgue. So I'm looking over here. So I think I'm going to do that. I think I have to do that. I think that's what's going to happen. So here we go. I'm going to break down the door and then shoot. That's the plan. Break down the door and then shoot. So my close combat over here is a 2. However, my bayonet's going to add on an automatic 2. So I have a decent close combat, something that can break through doors. So I can maybe focus on the shooting a bit more. There's nothing better than this, so okay. We'll use this and we'll play it super safe to make sure I do hit that door down. So I'll do 2 on close combat. Jeff Dealer's dark blue arc, the inner circle, is facing that door, which requires 4 damage to be hit. So the dark blue arc gives him 2 dice. The additional command point will give him a 3rd. And then he already has an automatic 2 damage on this door. So 2 damage between 3 dice is very reasonable. Yeah, so I didn't need to spend that extra command point. So that's been broken down. Because it's not blocking anything, I'm just going to remove it from the game. So Vasquez has line of sight for the first time. Will she interrupt to take a shot at him? How much do they have? Yeah, she'll interrupt. I don't want him just running past either. I don't want him running in the building, planting the virus, then opening up a bunch of doors so it spreads. So I'm going to get Vasquez to interrupt. So we'll bid. We have to beat him. And we don't have much of a purpose with the remainder. We'll bid 2. The Salemites, Jeff Dealer's the last guy to use. So they'll actually bid 2 as well. So they reveal, and it'll continue with the activation round. Now the reason why the Salemite players were able to bid so high is just that Jeff Dealer can only take 3 more command points anyways, right? So he doesn't have an issue spending that to make sure that he gets to hurt Vasquez. The NORADs actually do have a use for these. Nick Bolter can keep going, as can Vasquez, so whereas the Salemites have less to lose. Anyways, so he will get to do his shot here, and we'll see how it goes. So spending 2 command points on the shoot order. And the first thing now that they're spent is that the opponent gets to check line of sight, and it is in fact there. So the second step is that we get to do targeting. So he gets 1 die for targeting over here, and then another 2 over here. So 3 dice, and he needs to make it 2 spaces. So he made it 3, however he did suffer an out of ammo. So we're going to get an out of ammo symbol on this gun, which will take effect for the next shoot order. So he'll have to reload it before he's able to shoot again. The targeting did go through, so now we have a look here. The gun in the red section gives 2 dice, plus an additional command point, so 3. So 3 dice of damage to Vasquez, and we'll see if that does anything. Okay, so we have 1 critical hit, which goes through automatically, and then this 3 hits will go up against her 3 defense, so no more additional damage. And that'll be it for the Salemite player. Okay, back over here. Who do I want to, let's get maybe Nick Bolter running around. I was going to try and dig for some stuff, and I was going to try and get a search order for Vasquez. But now I'm thinking it's more important that he gets in Jacksaw's way. So that's what we're going to be trying to do. I only have 10 spaces left, and I don't want to leave any doors open. Okay, here we go. So spending, we only have individual movements anyways, unfortunately. I don't think we'll be using interact. Like, it's helpful for the infirmary and stuff, but I don't think it's going to happen. So we'll spend 1 on movement, That'll give me 5. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that'll be the end of the NORAD's turn. Now over to the Salemites. The only person who can still take commands is Jeff Dealer. And we're actually just going to use a command point here to reload. And so that'll be his 5th command point. So there's no more command points available to be spent on characters because they're all at their max CP. So they'll be drawing order tiles for the rest of the game, or the rest of the round. Salemites. I just made an illegal move without realizing, so I activated Nick Bolter here again before activating Vasquez. So we'll say I did this turn. Last turn what I did was I had Vasquez attacking Nick Bolter. So here we go. We'll spend 2 command points on the shoot order. Sorry about that, guys. So the opponent checks for line of sight. We're good. And we move on to targeting. So 2 dice. She has the sniper rifle giving her 3. So 5 dice. I think that's excessive. I'm going to drop 1. I still got the out of ammo, unfortunately, so I'll grab 1 of those. And that'll take effect on all my next shoot orders unless I reload it. Or won't allow me to do a shoot order until I reload it. So now I move on to damage. So I get 2 dice here, 3 dice for the extra command point, and we'll put that up against Jeff Dealer's armor. So 4 here up against 3, so 1 wound to him. So technically that was last turn. This turn I chose to move Nick Bolter, and now we're back over to the Salemites, who will just spend a command point to draw an order tile. I think the Nords have the right idea. I think it makes sense to keep shooting Nick Bolter. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. So 2 more. Before I do that, I'll spend a command point to reload. And then I will attach this order tile. And spend 2 here on the shoot order. So I've spent 5 command points on Vasquez. 1 to reload, 2 on the last shoot. So here comes another 2 on another shoot. So it's the same as last time. Line of sight's still there. And I will have 5 dice for targeting. And I'll roll 4 again. So again, an out of ammo, unfortunately. So I will have to reload next round. And I get 3 dice, 2 here, 1 for the additional. To try and cause some more damage to Jeff Dealer. Hopefully get him to his weaker side. So we have 3, then 1 automatic hit. So we'll do the critical hit first. And then we have 3 up against his armor of 3, so nothing additional. So we still have 2 damage. But still living, still okay. Over to the Salemite side. They will draw another order tile. There we go, some shoot. The NORAD with 3 command points left. We'll have to buy a command point because this isn't going to do much for us. So I'm going to spend 1 here to buy a command point. Or were these bid? I think I'm out. I'm sorry. So these were used for bidding. And so that's it. The NORAD's out, so they're forced to pass actually. Over on the Salemites, we'll spend a command point to buy 1. The NORADs pass once more, and the Salemites spend their last point. Now I'll do this final phase with you. So what happens is that this moves up here to the 2nd round, and then the virus, which is only in 1 room so far, spreads to any adjacent rooms if it can. Unfortunately for the Salemites, it can't though. So that's it for the final phase, and I'll refresh everything, decide what order tiles I'm keeping, and I'll bring you guys back for the next round. Thanks for watching.